I want to share my experience with an organization that's run by Alexander and Caroline Toskar, who are located in Munich, Germany. They have an organization called Toskar Healing, and they provide divine straightening services and spiritual healing services and training for other practitioners around the world. They also have offices in Cologne and London and are available to folks like me around the world via Zoom, whether you have physical ailments or if you already know that you want mental clarity or whatever the case may be. So the only story experience that I can share on it is my own. I'm going to date it back to about a year and a half ago. I have a very good friend named Julia who had recommended this organization to me, or a healing called Divine Straightening to me, that she had taken her family to this healer in Queens, New York, named Donna, in pursuit of back straightening, really, whether it was for different medical diagnoses or just for mental clarity. Each one of her family members had such a profound response to this healing that they flew from Florida to New York to meet with this gifted person and undergo this healing treatment that she provided. I have had chronic back issues for the past few years. I worked a very sedentary way of working, looking at two screens and sitting on a chair in the same place for many years, 8 years. I also wasn't in a good place in terms of my emotions, in terms of my own spirituality, casting my shadows on everyone around me, just generally unhappy and feeling stuck. That had manifested itself in having a very aching, chronic lower back pain that hurt no matter what I did, no matter how much I sat, walked, ran, iced it, put little metal spikes on it, or put warm heat on it, or cold on it, or went to the chiropractor. Nothing was fixing this. And at not even 40 years old, this really didn't seem like a lot in life that I wanted for the rest of my life. So my friend said, well, I had this wonderful spiritual healing from this person. She showed me a couple of simple hand movements, basically like a prayer position that you bring your palms together. And you can do some stretches and you can undergo this divine straightening. Perhaps your legs alignment are off and it needs to be loosened and straightened. Me being the bookworm that I am, instead of buying a flight, bought a book and found out more about divine straightening and sought out the originators and found their website and watched a ton of videos and was really intrigued by their method. With my back still hurting and flaring up and sciatica and all this stuff that my 90-something-year-old grandmother was also experiencing at the same time, I decided to take the leap of faith in February of 2023, right before my 40th birthday, 2 months later, and book an appointment with Toskar Healing. I had no idea that the person on the other side who would be meeting with me at that Zoom call would be the founder, Alexander Toskar, whose father had founded the method in his own lifetime. Meeting Alexander face to face a year and a half ago for the divine straightening was a surprise. I think I showed up an hour late my time. I was very flustered and caught up in my own routine of work and life and family and activities, and very flustered, and showed up to our session not in a great place. He made it work no matter what and put me in a place of comfort and reflection and safety, and taught me some real simple ways to basically self-heal. Again, I'm thinking this is a lower back problem. Started with focusing on a spiritual cleansing. A very simple activity like putting your hands over your eyes with your eyes closed and just repeating like a mantra, light, clarity, confidence in my thoughts. Being in the present and thinking about what those three things mean: light, clarity, and confidence in my thoughts. While he basically sent his energy over the distance and time difference and whatever other obstacles in the way. Then we moved down to the body, right? Hands over navel is a simple exercise, and repeating a simple mantra: power, health, vitality in my body. To meet the two in the middle at your heart center, hands over your heart, repeating love, peace, harmony in my heart. It was a way of thinking about the body as a trinity, really, body, mind, spirit, all together, that I hadn't before. And my reaction to it was intense, I would say. I felt immediately lighter. I was able to see a light in my mind. At that point, I was seeing some shadows somehow through the light, which it was very early in the morning and nobody else in my house was awake. There was no reason for that to be around me. It was in my own head, casting my own shadows out. What was most interesting, I'm still a little bit in disbelief. However, when I got off this call, I wrote a list of things that I want to do. And after the list making, I went for a 10-mile run. It was like everything was lighter than a feather. Nothing hurt. This was after having done a marathon a month earlier, and everything was hurting and still healing. It was like floating. I had no idea I was going out from my house to run 2 miles to the park, to run 5 miles in the park, to do a fun run through a trail, to do another 2 miles home, and just enjoy being outside and in nature at this trail that had been almost biblical for me in terms of my connection with nature and other people and divine source. So here I am. I'm filled with energy. I'm running. I'm making lists. I'm charting a path to a better life. And I go to eat, I don't know, something unhealthy. We were constantly rushing and eating fast food. I go to eat something unhealthy and it tasted like poison in my mouth. It just tasted wrong. The same thing with alcohol. The next day after the healing, I went out with friends, and that was the last time I drank alcohol. I thought I could still do it socially, but my body was telling me no. I had a sip of red wine and it just tasted like poison. That's the only way I can describe it. It just tasted wrong. It's a year and a half later, and I've still kept it. I'm trying to keep my body pure, and I haven't drank alcohol since then. I'm still working on the food. It's not always when I'm able to make a gourmet meal at home, but I have definitely been called to eat more food that comes from the ground, more fruit, more vegetable, more food that comes from sunlight. Let's keep going. From there, everything kind of opens up, and I realize that I'm just living a life that is like a shell, living for a paycheck, not living for a purpose, and just intensifies. The more and more I did this meditation and trying to clear my thoughts and see the light and build my confidence, expand my love, it was only a few months later that I knew that what I was doing day by day was bringing me down and making me feel stuck. My back was relieved. I started running every day without issue, started praying every day, being more active in church, reading the Bible, wanting that connection to God in new ways, wanting to be present and to help other people, wanting to create things. In the summer of last year, grandmother gifted me some paints that my grandfather, who had just recently died, had left behind. Some oil paints and some plates that he had done. And I just felt called to create art. It's been a while. Creative, I'm doing things all the time that are creative, but never for me and never just for the sake of art, for the sake of expression of my own. I felt that that was my responsibility to carry on his legacy and make something beautiful with his tools. It kept going like that there were all these different things that kind of were aligning and coming together, and opportunities, from all different angles. At some point, I knew that what I was doing day by day in my day job was not right. It was something like August 2024, and I attempted to quit my job. I had this calling not only to connect with God, not only to run, not only to eat and drink healthy, but to help people. That manifested in wanting to heal people, to help them get better. I thought it was in the medical sense. My initial pull was to go to medical school and become a doctor and help people in that way physically. So I took the MCAT. I'm a designer. I've never taken science since high school. I just felt compelled, and I felt that my own role was holding me back and I needed to do more. I'm very fortunate. My day-to-day job, when I tried to leave, offered me so much more reasons to stay, more responsibility, more money, and and working with people that I love. I took it. All that flow that I had gained and working towards a goal and trying to start a new chapter was put on hold. I had a friend who had a similar thing happen to her where she had this position that I thought that everybody in the world would want, and she had it. She decided to leave it behind. I asked her, why would you do that? And her response for me when I was in this situation for myself is she said, make sure that you're setting yourself up right and that this is something that you want, because if it's just for the money, it won't keep you happy long. It's usually a few months. It was 9 months, by the way. 9 months for me. But before then, I kept on my path, knowing that I was growing and knowing that I was now in this executive role, and very grateful for the things that were happening around me. Although my natural talents are not in the area of medical science, as I found out from my 8-hour MCAT test score, which I'm very happy that I did. I sort of realized that as an executive in business, I still want to pursue higher education. I want to pursue something that will naturally flow in my career and still help people and allow me to write and research and be part of the conversation and thought leadership. I came up with applying for a PhD program in business for executives, which is a wonderful program, one of the top programs. I'm so fortunate that it's just a short drive away from my house and that it exists and that they took me. Yay. Maybe had I not accepted that job, maybe I wouldn't have had the guts to seek this out and to apply for this program with confidence and to know that I could do it. I was accepted into this role and so grateful that this new chapter in my life that I wanted to do, that I wanted to seek education, was opening. When it came to February 2025, when it was a year after my initial divine straightening with Alexander Toskar, I felt the need to schedule another appointment with him. I just wanted to see his face and say thank you for making this positive change in my life and tell him my story. And lo and behold, I booked the appointment and he showed up again. He was there and I just couldn't keep my emotions within. I was so grateful for this divine straightening, for the spiritual healing and every change that it had made in my life. He said some amazing things. He said, your experience is sort of enhanced, is different. All I did was plant a mustard seed. Love humble people, amazing. He said that maybe I should pursue a training for spiritual healing for other people, which was amazing because that's what I wanted to do in the first place. I just didn't understand the call. I wanted to help heal other people. After a very tear-filled session and another cleansing and healing of spirit, body, and mind with Alexander, all of the feelings and the callings and the purification process that I had been undergoing just amplified. I started taking a philosophy class. The philosophy class reiterated all of these things that we were doing with these spiritual cleansing meditations, with so many resources over this course of time, from ancient Greece to China to Egypt to India. Many ancient philosophers in different places at different times saying the exact same thing. It just clicked that we have these three bodies, right? We have our body, our physical body, we have our emotional body, and then we have the spiritual body in which we can connect to God at any time that we want. It's not something that's far sitting on a cloud away from us. It's something that we have to understand within to find that higher consciousness, to find the Holy Spirit, to find the Holy Trinity. It's prayer, it's meditation. If you want to bear fruit, as I've heard in church, look at the vine, look at within, and draw to him within. And it worked. I am very proud to say that after my 9 months, yes, I did quit my job. That was sad to go, but very happy to open a new chapter. The week afterwards, I took a healing training with Alexander and his wife, Caroline Toskar, via Zoom. I met 3 other amazing people, also healing practitioners from the UK with their own talents. I just felt with each day and with their challenge of being able to heal another person. First, my husband was my first victim, then my best friend, and their responses to it being so different and unique and powerful. I knew I was doing the right thing. I knew that I was following a call and a higher purpose. Finally, in my life, 41 years old, it took me a while, but maybe Everyone's on their own journey. I just want to keep receiving the calls and following them and seeing where it goes. So I'm on a journey. I'm creating. I posted a podcast, didn't script it. I just recorded myself talking about my own journey and my lists and kind of what I've learned over the past couple of years without specifically calling out the divine straightening, but that is a crucial element. I have this journey that's kind of plotted out ahead of me to gain wisdom from whoever I want in my life. I'm charting my own path and trying to learn from everybody around me. And I just want to help people create and help people, because honestly, when I'm drawing, when I'm writing, I am in flow. It's a beautiful thing to know what it is. Although it started with a mustard seed, that seed has burgeoned and grown. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to connect with this program, to connect with myself in a way that I didn't know that I could, and to connect with God. I'm just grateful. If we think about the word abundance, it's not what we think in terms of material goods, stuff that we have, money in the account. I feel so abundant with love, with friends. I feel so abundant with talents. Thank you, God, for giving me this ability to draw, to write, to sing, to be present, to make connections. The best things in life are free. It's true. I hope that I can continue on this path as long as I can and maybe inspire a few others along the way. Thank you.